G'day everyone, hope you're all well. In today's video, we're just going to talk about some round 9 trade targets. I've got a bit of a list here of names that I am considering this week and potentially you guys should be considering. I'll have timestamps and stuff for each individual player, so if you just want to jump through if there's any names in particular you liked. I just wanted to give a massive thank you though. I shared my last video in a couple of NRL fantasy groups. That video is sitting on 800 views at the moment, as my other one's on like 20 or so, so yeah, massive improvement. I just wanted to give you all a big thanks for all the support. I've got a few new subscribers as well, which is awesome. So yeah, obviously just starting out less than a week ago, so really appreciate it, guys. For me, I've got 27 trades, 120k in the bank. Reece Walsh has to go. So I've got a couple of names that I'll mention it throughout the list that I will potentially be trading into, but I reckon we'll just get straight into it, hey? So I've sort of set it by categories. So obviously we went through our fundamentals in the last video of the key things you should be looking out for. So I've got a couple of names that will make 150k plus realistically, 10 points undervalued, and then non-origin, undervalued or true value keepers, or ideally end of season targets. So these are names that are either undervalued or they're priced where they should be, and they're keepers, so that's totally fine. I've left off the list origin guys, and then guys who are slightly overpriced or heavily overpriced, even though they are keepers. So that's up to you if you want to bring them in, but I won't talk about them. Yeah, so firstly, Hugo Savala. I was big on him last week. And yeah, again, he went up 47k, so he's 277k now. There's heaps of avenues where he's easily going to make 150k. This spot looks secure. Him and Jayden Smith were really good last week, and there was the Pump the Dragon. So yeah, I think that spot's his for now. Even if he gets 35s, and I would expect him to get a little bit better than that now. He's a 6'4" half. Tackle counts are really strong. Missed tackles are low. Kick meters are decent. He's splitting them with Jayden Smith. So yeah, even with 35s, he's making 150k. He's owned by 30% now also. So a lot of people have him, but yeah, if you don't already, be grabbing him this week. He's still cheap at 277k. Then we got King-Togia. He's a new one this week. Ilias was dropped. He's a wait and see for me. He's obviously 230k. So if you need that price point to enable a different trade, then yeah, fair enough. But he's not a big kicking half. We'll go to Rugby League Fantasy Pro here. Go to this one. So I just got his reserve grade stats here. So he played 12 games and a half. He played 5/8 and then a little bit of fullback, but this is just his 5/8 games. He's a really small, he's not frail, but he's a smaller body. Like he's not a Hugo Savala who's 6'4". He's not a Jahrome Hughes who's bigger and dominates kick meters. You can see he only kicked for 80 meters. 80 meters a game, which is good for less than 3 points in this version of fantasy. So yeah, his attacking stats are solid. He got 4 tries. He is more of an attacking half. You can watch his New South Wales Cup highlights on YouTube if you just type in his name. There's a 2-minute video or something I watched. It doesn't give you much, but it gives you a little bit of a sample. Yeah, he doesn't kick goals, barely kicks. His tackle counts are really strong, actually. I think he played one game. Let's have a look here. He played one game at 5'8" and had like 23 tackles for 1 miss. Yeah, 23 and 1 miss. Again, no kick meters. It will be interesting to see because Kyle Flanagan's the other half, and he hasn't been a dominant kicker for about 4 or 5 years now. So I would fully expect Kyle Flanagan to take the bulk of that kicking, and we'll actually talk about him later. But yeah, he's a wait and see for me. If he gets 100, 200 kick meters, that's awesome. I just don't see a path to that at the moment. He is named at 7, but I assume he'll play predominantly 6. So yeah, if you're tossing up between him and Savala, I think Savala's the easy grab. And then even if King-Togia scores a 35-40, that's awesome, but he'll only make 20, 30k. So easy wait and see. And then if the Dragons get pumped this week, he's probably lost his spot back to Ilias anyway. So yeah, easy wait and see for me, but he certainly has a path to making 150k. Just not one for me this week unless you need that enabler. And then we got some value. So players that are 10 plus points undervalued. So we'll start with Jahrome Hughes here. He's obviously having a terrible season. It has been a little bit injury riddled. The Storm aren't in the best form, like we have come to expect from them. But even just last year, he averaged 60, in 80 minutes, and then 52 the year before. Then it starts to fall off with 47 and stuff. But yeah, the kick meter's 345 last year for his 60. His try tally was higher than you'd expect from a half, even though he's an attacking half as well. But he probably won't score a try every 2 games, which is what he did last year. But it's really his tackle breaks that are down. So he went down from 3.8 last year to 0.7 this year. The rest of the counting stats are decent, like 250 metres, he got a few more last week. Tries are down, as we'd expect. But the try assists are the same. Tackle counts are down a couple. Missed tackles are down as well. So, yeah, he's priced at 42, coming off a 60-point season last year. He's lost the most amount of money out of anyone, so 270K or so. He's got that break even of 56, but he's certainly one I'm considering this week. He doesn't play round 12 or round 15, which on the surface looks terrible. But just remember, you can only play two halves. Like, you don't get an interchange bench during these rounds. So if you have two halves that are playing in those rounds, then it's actually overkill if you have three, because unless they're dual, you can't play them. So it's actually really beneficial having someone that doesn't have any buys in the other rounds as well. So like if you've got a Hugo Savala, Nicho Hynes and stuff who both play in a particular round, you actually don't need Hughes for that round. So yeah, the break even's high at 56, so you could wait and see next week. I don't know. I'm thinking about getting him because he complements my halves, and price at 42, it's just so juicy, and I think it's worth taking the risk on him. If you're getting him, you're getting him with the expectation that he will get back to a similar Hughes from last year. And even if he doesn't get to the 60-point heights, he just needs to average 50. So yeah, he won't lose too much money this week, assuming he plays 80 minutes and has a half-decent performance. So he is a perfect upgrade for Walsh for me in my team circumstance. But yeah, just look at your current buy schedule with your halves. And if he aligns with that, then I think, yeah, he's absolutely a target this week. Then we've got Ryley Smith. A little bit of an interesting one. He obviously played 80 last week. He doesn't have any data to back him up from previous seasons. He played 66 and 62, then 80 minutes. There's always the risk that Hopgood jumps back into that bench hooker role, or like plays 15 or so minutes, and then Ryley Smith's minutes go down to 60-ish. I just don't see it. Like, it's not the role Hopgood should be in, and they seem to have realised that. And he's really the only one that jumps into that bench hooker role. So I think there's easily an avenue to 80 minutes. His tackle count was 36 last week, but he had 6 missed tackles, which isn't super ideal. But even with 66 and 62 minutes, that tackle count was still 36 and 38. So it's easy to see how he's going to average 35 plus at a minimum. And he's got that lower break even this week. Plays round 12, which is awesome. But yeah, I think if he can get that tackle count to 40 plus, the missed tackles down to 4 or 5 even, which is high, but lower than last week. There's easily an avenue to 35 and potentially even 40. Disregard the goal kick he had last week. They were just switching and choosing whoever they wanted in the last 10 minutes last week, so that won't continue. He's like 3rd or 4th string. But yeah, easy, like 40 tackles, let's say 30 metres gain. He has a kick in him as well, and those missed tackles aren't shocking apart from last week. So yeah, I see him averaging 35 at a minimum, especially if he keeps that 80-minute roll. If he keeps 80, I think 40, 45 is on the cards for sure. So yeah, here's another one I'm considering. I need to fill out my hooker role, but if you've got a couple, you can probably disregard. Then next on the list, Kalyn Ponga. Bit of a controversial one. I'm sure a lot of people are selling him this week, and I totally understand that. I said to keep him last week, even though he was obviously going to lose money with that 75, 80 break even. But he's just priced so low now at 41. He was priced at 44, so maybe even higher last week. Like if he wasn't playing Origin, I would be bringing him in probably this week or next week. And there's a chance he doesn't play Origin. I think with Reece Walsh's injury, he's like 90% going to play. But there's always a chance with his form and the Knights' form that he just misses out. They could play the hammer at fullback. They do have options. It's just, I think they'll stick and choose. Queensland seems to do that. But yeah, he's got a 69 break even, but last year he averaged 54, and then in his 70 plus minutes he averaged 56. And that's the Ponga we do expect. He averaged 56 the year before, 45. Like, he's not a 40-point player. He started the year awesome and then slipped. He kicks goals when they score. He does everything that you want. It's just the fact that he plays Origin. But I think if you wanted him, I think this week is the week to get him, because obviously he is probably going to play Origin. So he's boom or bust, and you want an extra round of him, even if he does lose a little bit of money. Because there is a little bit of a false break even. I've talked about this to not use the current break even as the be all and end all, because even if he gets 50s, he's only losing money for 1 week, and then that break even is going to go so low just because he's priced at 41. So yeah, 71 break even based off his last couple of terrible scores. But yeah, if you're getting him this week, you're getting him with the expectation that he is going to be the Ponga that we know and love. So I think you just got to bite the bullet this week, lose your 15, 20k, or whatever it may be. And yeah, like it's just this week or never in my eyes, or after Origin in my eyes, because it is getting really close to that Origin period, and yeah, you want another week of them if you're going to bite the bullet this week. So if you're a head-to-head player, I think you can certainly wait, because obviously those Origin periods aren't as important to you. But yeah, it's super team dependent. I won't be taking the risk on him because I've got so many winger fullbacks and I don't want him during the Origin period. But if you're in a circumstance where that Origin period doesn't hurt you too much, I think just get him in this week or the week after, because he's priced at 41 and that's way too low. So that's it. There's really not too much value on the board. There's only really 2 cashies, well, 1 cashie and 1 hopefully cashie, and then 2 of the 3 undervalued guys are long-term keepers. So yeah, there's really not a lot of cash cows on the board this week or money-making potential. So I think it's a pretty good week to get some end-of-season targets, like focusing on those. I've got Jahrome Hughes on this list again. I won't touch on him, but yeah, again, he's really underpriced, and I think he's a really good get this week. Then you got Dylan Lucas. I said wait and see on him last week just to see if he was back in that 80-minute role with Thomas Kant on the bench. Yeah, he played 76 minutes. I think he rested the last 4 minutes, and yeah, no concerns there. His hamstring does have a little bit of a re-injury rate, obviously throughout the league, but he got through a game, looked really good, 47 tackles, only 2 misses, 83. He's got really good attacking stats, priced at 52, but that's a bit lower than he averaged last year. He only averaged 50, but then if we go 70 minutes and second row, he averaged 55 and a half. So yeah, still a little bit undervalued. And him and Fermor or Herbie Farnworth are the 2 or 3 you want in the centres at the back end of the year. Won't play Origin and does have really good buy schedule in round 12 and 15. And with that edge centre duel, that's really important during those periods because, like I said, there's no interchange bench. So heaps of merit to bring him in this week. I would personally lean towards bringing him in over Fermor. Both of them have a risk of playing in the centres at any point, but Lucas's risk is a little bit lower than Fermor's. Has stronger buys, priced a little bit lower than what he should be. Like he was a 55-point player. I think Fermor was a 49-point player last year. So yeah, heaps of benefits to Lucas over Fermor, even though Fermor does have a lower break even. Yeah, we'll get into Fermor in a sec. But yeah, Dylan Lucas, easy grab this week. If you need a centre or an edge or buy cover, he's perfect this week, and yeah, he should be higher than he is at the moment. Then we've got Jamal Fogarty. He was really popular last week and rewarded his owners. He got a late try and try assist in the final 5-10 minutes, I think. So that really ballooned his score out, but he's a really consistent player. He's got that 1 score below 50, and that's about it. I actually started the year with him. He was priced similar, like 35k lower. He was priced at 52, I believe. And last year with Ethan Strange at 5'8", Fogarty averaged 60. It was a small sample size. It might have been like 8 to 10 games or so. But that was strong enough data for me that he was underpriced at 52 points. And even at 55, he's probably bang on where he should be. But really good cover in round 12, depending on your team needs. Then has that buy in 15, but plays 18, which is a little bit trickier as well. So if you're buying him, he's an end-of-season target for sure. He'll be in the top 5-ish halves. You got Hynes, Cleary, a couple of others that I can't think of at the moment. But yeah, he'll be in the top 5 for sure. And yeah, if you want to grab him, I think grab him now. Or you can even wait. He's got a 43 break even, so he'll make a little bit of money. But yeah, really good grab this week. Holy dolly, 75% of the top 100. That's crazy. I didn't realize he was that highly owned amongst the top teams. But yeah. Anyway, yeah, easy grab if you didn't grab him last week. Then we've got Nicho Hynes. I personally got Nicho Hynes over Fogarty a couple of weeks back for his 56 and 60, which is awesome. For me, there's just no Origin risk. He's completely out of the pecking order there. You got Moses, Luai, Cleary above him, and yeah, he was pretty terrible in Origin, so I don't think he's on anyone's radar there. Plays round 12 and 15, which was better cover for my team. And his history is just crazy the last couple of years. I don't expect him to get back there, but he does have the highest potential out of anyone. His kick meters were obviously down. He had 42 last week, which is shocking, and they are really inconsistent. So that was something that was a lot higher over the last couple of years that probably won't increase. But if Trindle goes down injured, then Hynes gets the bulk kicking meters again, and he does everything else that you want in a half. So, yeah, last year averaged 61, even higher when he played 80 as well. 64 last year. I think it was like 70 the year before that. 74, wow. So yeah, price at 54, it's really enticing. Don't expect him to get back to a 74 average, potentially not even a 64 average, but the path to a 60-plus point scorer is clear. And at 54, there's just no downside, really, unless he gets injured. He's not going to play Origin, really good buys. So I'd personally prefer him over Fogarty, but you can't go wrong with either, to be honest. Then we've got Fletcher Sharpe. I said avoid him last week unless you needed a winger fullback. Just because he doesn't have any history at 5'8", he doesn't kick at all. Like 14 kick meters a game, it's less than a point for a half. Like, that's really bad. But he's really consistent. Like, it's crazy how consistent he is, given he doesn't kick. Like, one score of 36, but then the rest between 46 and 68. Like, it's really good. The Knights' attacks has struggled, but Sharpe is prominent in all of that attack. His tackle count's really solid and barely misses any. And yeah, we've got another week of data, getting a 50 and 80 minutes without a try. I wouldn't expect him to get 33 tackles anytime soon again, but yeah, like, he's just really consistent. And I think if you need a winger fullback half that play in round 12 and 15, then yeah, you feel free to grab him for sure. He's owned by 18% now, which is huge. Huge numbers in the top 100,000, 5,000. Yeah, there's no rush to get him in. There's no rush to get any of these non-Origin keepers in. It's just whatever fits your team need. I think it's a really good week to bring at least one of them in with no cashies on the board. But yeah, Fletcher Sharpe, grab him this week or whenever you want, because he's got that 50 break even, so he shouldn't lose or make too much money in the next coming weeks anyway. Then we've got two guys I've included on the list because they're not expected to play Origin or not locked in to play Origin. Fermor, it's looking more likely that he will. I'd say he's above a 50% chance to play Origin now, which is unfortunate because I got him in a couple of weeks ago. But yeah, it's just the Queensland edges don't look great at the moment. Nanai's coming off the bench. He's played the last couple of games, but I don't know if that's enough data for Billy Slater, not Billy Smith. And then Fafita was meant to be out for 4 weeks, came back last week, and now has dropped again. So yeah, the Fermor's path to an Origin team is getting more clear. So I'd probably avoid him. I talked about Dylan Lucas being a better grab than him this week. He does have a really low break even. I think it's like 18 or so. Let's have a look here. Yeah, 18. Obviously coming off that 109, which is why people are drawn towards him as opposed to Dylan Lucas. But yeah, he does. He's priced at 49 still. He only averaged 49 last year. Funnily enough, his stats at centre were the exact same last year, even though he struggled this year in his 2 games. Yeah, he's always a risk of going to the centres. That 18 break even is a bit false. Well, 20 break even. This one's Rugby League Fantasy Pro has the more accurate break evens, by the way. Yeah, even if he averages 50, he's going to make like 80k or so, and then shoot straight back down. And that 80k you're making doesn't go anywhere because you're going to keep him for the year. So yeah, just don't worry. If you bring him in, don't worry about his price. Like, I think Lucas is a better grab. He'll come back down below 700 at some stage, and if he's playing Origin, then yeah, you can grab him when he's below 700k once that Origin period is done. So for me, it's Lucas over Fermor. If you don't expect Fermor to play Origin, then potentially him this week. It's up to you. And Jacob Preston, he's probably less likely to play Origin. I don't know if he's on any radar at the moment. He should be, like, he's awesome, but I haven't seen him in too many predicted teams. But I've marked him as red just in case, because you just have to be careful that he has a chance to play. Averaging 58.7 this year, priced at 58. Yeah, he's priced exactly where he should be. 52 last year, but he's an 80-minute guy now, and averaged 58 last year. So yeah, he's priced exactly where he should be. Does have a little bit of Origin risk, but if he doesn't, he plays round 12, 15, and 18. So he's in my team. So fingers crossed he does not play Origin, because I'd have to potentially look to trade him. Obviously missing 5 or so games, so that's a wait and see for me. I probably wouldn't pick him up this week just on the basis of that. I'd be looking at a round 12 pickup if he's not named, and then he's almost a must-have if he isn't named during that bye period. And then we go into a little bit of a, not controversial section, but a risky section. It's high risk, high reward. This is super team dependent, right? So I've got Kalyn Ponga on the list. I won't talk about him too much. We've already talked about him. But the rest of the guys are, there's not much data this season to support anything, but I'll make a case for all of them. This is more so if you're an overall player and you're ranked 20, 30, 40,000 and you know you're a better player than that, but you've just got to take a risk to start moving up the ranks. Like getting people that are 20, 30% owned isn't going to cut the mustard anymore for you. Or same if you're a head-to-head player and you're lower in the ladder and you need a risk. So really high risk, high burn sort of guys. I'll make a case for all of them. I'll start with Brailey. Also, if you have less than 25 trades or so, I wouldn't be looking to bring any of these guys in. But someone like me who has 27 trades, I could potentially take a risk on him. I'm not going to, spoiler alert, but We'll start with Jayden Brailey. I was really interested in him, heading into this round. He played 70 minutes last week for 58 points, based just on tackles pretty much, 52 tackles. His data is really strong when he plays 70 plus minutes or even 60 plus minutes. Like 44 last year, but that's his worst. 51 the year before, 50, 56, and then it starts to go lower at 41. If he was playing 60 minutes guaranteed, he's going to average 45 plus, you would expect. So I was interested to see if he was named in the starting side this week. Crossland is named in there. I would potentially think that will switch in the hour before kickoff or whatever. But Brailey was playing in the forwards when Crossland came on, and I just can't see a path to that anymore. 2 forwards came back. I can't remember. It was Saifidi and Clemmer. That doesn't sound right. But there were 2 forwards that came back that are named this week that are going to really eat into Brailey's minutes. So I can't see a path to 60 plus minutes anymore, like I did last week. So if he plays 60 plus minutes, he'll be awesome. Price at 32, probably average 45 to 50. So you're taking a risk on those minutes, and I just can't see an avenue where that is likely anymore. So that's why he's on this list. Ben Hunt. Okay. This one on absolutely no one's radars. He's been terrible this year for fantasy. He's been decent in real life. But obviously playing alongside Reynolds, his kick meters are going to be fully down. The only reason he's on the list is he's lost 250k, right? So his kick meters are down to 100 a game. So that's good for 3 points. His other stats are pretty similar. He averaged 51 last year, 51 the year before, 45. And he did play a couple of games at hooker, but it shouldn't have changed his average too much. It's just those kick meters. Like last year, he averaged 500 kick meters, and this year he averages 100. So that's 13 points gone. So he's not one to grab this week by any means, but just be careful with Adam Reynolds. He's had that shoulder injury last week. I didn't think he'd be named this week, but he is. If he re-injures that shoulder or he drops out for a couple of weeks, it's not likely at this stage, but just keep an eye on Adam Reynolds' injury. If he misses a month or so at any stage, Ben Hunt is a great pickup, priced at 32, because those kick meters will fully come back to him. Reece Walsh kicked a little bit, but he's injured at the moment. Billy Walters kicks 1 or 2 a game maybe. So Ben Hunt will pick up all those kick meters, and there's a clear path to him getting back to 50 plus points if Adam Reynolds is injured. He's not at the moment. Apparently, he seems all good since he's named. Ben Hunt should be on your radar if Adam Reynolds gets injured, pretty much. Jayden Sullivan. This one I actually have a lot of interest in. I'm not going to do it this week. I just can't. It's just too risky for me, even with 27 trades. But I think there's a lot of potential here. His price at 22, break-even of 17. He's played 3 games in the halves, essentially, because that interchange game he played in the halves. His tackle counts are really strong. His missed tackles are high, but he's not notorious for missing that many tackles. Just last year, in like 6 games, he averaged 53, and that was only with 280 kick meters. So yeah, like I think that was for the Tigers last year. So different team. But yeah, like the missed tackles are down to 3. His tackle count's the same. 24 tackles is really solid. And the Rabbitohs are just so depleted at the moment. Obviously, Jamie Humphries is out. Whiten's just been ruled out this week. Lewis Dodd seems to be like the 5th string halfback at the moment, so he'll probably come in. I haven't checked yet. So yeah, those kick meters probably increase a little bit. They're probably not going to get back to that 280 last week, but I think his role's pretty secure, even when Humphries comes back, because I think Latrell probably won't play in the 5'8" position. He'll obviously dominate kick meters when he's back, but he's out this week. He'll play Origin as well. Jai Gray's probably back to fullback whenever Latrell's out. Lewis Dodd is so out of favour, it's not funny. Like Jayden Sullivan was on the bench even when Lewis Dodd was available. Jamie Humphries is back in a couple of weeks, but then it's probably Sullivan and Humphries in the halves. So yeah, I think his role is safe, even though he'll have so many different halves partners. And yeah, he's just priced so low, and I can see him averaging 35, 40 plus when he gets those attacking stats back. Like he only averaged 90 meters last year, 60 this year. Tackle breaks are about the same, but yeah, like there's actually not too many differentials. It's just his attacking stats are down. Like no try assist this year, no tries. I think there's actually really good potential, but he is high risk because that role's not secure. We don't actually know. Like his data previously was 34, 33, 43, 36. Like it's just so inconsistent, and he's a boom or bust sort of guy. He's an attacking half that doesn't kick too much. So interesting one. Like wait and see again. But I just thought I'd include him on this list if you do need a flyer. Dane Gagai. I don't think he's going to play Origin anymore. I think he's probably lost that spot to Holmes, especially with the Knights' form. He's having a down year, pretty much just because the Knights are having a down year. Like he's averaging 38 this year. He averaged 51 the year before, 55, and then it starts to go all over the place. 2 years of really strong data, and it's just the Knights are struggling this year. So all their attacking backs are going to be struggling as well. His tackle count's the same at 19. His run meters are down by 20 or 30. Tackle breaks are down by 1. Offloads are up a little bit. His missed tackles are down a little bit. So everything is really consistent. It's just he's not scoring tries, not getting tries, he's not getting line breaks. Like 0.1, 0.1, 0.3 compared to 0.4, 0.3, 0.8 last year. So if the Knights' form starts to pick up, I think there's an easy path to him to getting back to a 50-point player. They're versing depleted Rabbitohs side this week, then the Titans next week, then Para, then Penrith, who are going to be decimated with Origin. So he's got a really strong schedule. I think the Knights will start to pick up form, pick up confidence, and I think there is an avenue to him getting back to 50 plus. He's probably not a long-term keeper. You got Herbie, Fermor, Lucas that you'll probably be wanting as your 3 centers towards the back end of the year. But yeah, he's a really good flyer if you do need a high-risk, high-reward guy. Jarome Luai, I won't ramble on about him too much. Not super interested in him. I know a lot of people started the year with him. He's never been a fancy, relevant guy to me. Owned by 7% still. I assume that's a lot of casual players, given his 0% owned in the top 5,000. Averaging 33 this year. What was it last year? I think it was 44 last year. Then without Cleary. With Cleary, it was 36. Without Cleary, it was 50. So that's why people have a lot of interest in him to start the season. He's lost 80k off the back of that now. He's just had no attacking stats, no tries this year, only 0.4 try assists. The kick meters are solid at 260. Obviously, they were down this week. And then the week before, Lockie Galvin was out of the team. But Lockie Galvin played all these other games and he's averaging around 300, which is about what he had last year. The meters gained are down a little bit. But it's really the tackle breaks that are down heaps. So 0.9 this year, 3.9 without Cleary last year. So that's 6 points right there. His offload's 1.7 last year to 1.6 this year, all the same. So yeah, if he gets that left foot step back, gets some more meters gained, starts to get attacking stats as the Tigers start to complement each other better, I think he could easily average 40 plus. Yeah, not enough value for me, but again, team dependent. If you need a flyer, he's a really good one. Flanagan. So this one's a weird one. He's not on anyone's radar at all, just like Ben Hunt. I talked briefly about King-Togia is not a massive kick meter guy. Like not at all, like less than 100 meters. So who's going to pick up those meters? It's got to be Kyle Flanagan, right? He's averaging 40 kick meters this year. That's like ridiculous for a half. And he has data. His data isn't strong in the last couple of years. Like, you've got to go back 4 or 5 years for this one. Like, he averaged 33 last year, 34, 32. And that starts getting interesting. 45 with 300 kick meters, 53 with 260 meters, and I think that's about it. Yeah, like 43 with 200 meters. So there is a path. Again, with King-Togia, he's a wait and see, even with the 21 break even. I just want to see what their role is, and if he's going to stay in that side, King-Togia, that is, then I think there's a real clear path to Kyle Flanagan getting a 10-point increase just based on kick meters. But yeah, wait and see how the Dragons go this week. Wait and see what Flanagan and King-Togia's kick meter splits are. But yeah, I don't think he'll be on anyone's radar regardless of what happens, and I think he should be as of next week. So yeah, just keep an eye on him this week. Please don't get him this week. It's literally a flyer, but yeah, just see what those kick meter splits are, and I have real interest in him next week. And then ones to watch in coming weeks, I'll just put JT Turbo on this list. I couldn't believe how low price he was. Like $465K for a guy who used to average 50 plus is crazy. He's going to lose a little bit of money because he's coming off an 8 last week with an injury. They've got the bye this week. Please tell me he's not playing Origin. Like, he was used in a 10, 15, 20-minute role off the bench, in the starting side in Origin the last year. So I can't see him being in that team. Please not, as a New South Wales supporter. Yeah, he'll lose even more money with the 57 break even coming off that 8. His minutes are really solid still. Like, they've slowly declined a little bit, but still 60 plus minutes. And in that role in the last couple of years, he's been solid. Like 45 last year, 45, 45, 49, 56. And yeah, he's getting up in age, so we're not expecting a 56. But all the data suggests he'll be a 45 plus player. The tackle count's down to 35 instead of 40. That's about the only data that's different. So he's priced at 35. Even if he starts to pump out a few 40s again, he's going to lose a little bit more money. So he'll lose another 23, 25K. So he'll be priced at 33. And yeah, there's a clear 10 points of value, and he plays all important buy rounds, 12, 15, and 18. So yeah, I have a lot of interest in him in the coming weeks. Certainly not this week, coming off a buy and with that coming into a buy and with that high break even. But yeah, keep an eye on him, please. He won't be on anyone's radar again. And I think if you're looking out for these guys, like, you want to look out for them early to see opportunities, and that it should affect your trades in the next couple of weeks. Obviously, you're probably not affecting your trade over a Jake Trbojevic, but it's just important to look out for guys that are coming into that interesting price point. Like, that's why I didn't make any trades last week, because I'm interested in Jahrome Hughes this week. So yeah, if you're forcing a trade, just look out for guys on your radar in the next couple of weeks. Then last but not least, Erin Clark. He's got his own section, Erin Clark, just because he's so volatile. Like, I've seen so many people in love with him this week, and so many people that hate the idea of him. If you asked me yesterday, he was not touching my team, but he's a big chance now. I'd have to force 2 trades to get him in, because I can't go Reece Walsh to him directly. But yeah, there was a couple of points that I didn't talk about when I talked about him in the video a couple of days ago that I just wanted to touch on. So someone pointed out to me that Dylan Walker obviously left the Warriors, and that is why his minutes have increased. There's certainly some merit to that. I think that was a really good point that I had just glossed over, or had personally just forgotten about, to be honest. But yeah, I think he will gain a little bit of minutes just off the back of that. But interestingly enough, he played 49 and 42, and then 60 and 64 minutes without him. So it's still a volatile minute split. So, yeah, I think it certainly helps that Dylan Walker's not there, but I don't think that's the sole reason he's playing 60 minutes plus. James Fisher-Harris was the one I pointed out, and I still think that's true. A lot of people are saying that Erin Clark's their only ball-playing lock, and I understand that, but someone has to lose minutes when James Fisher-Harris is back, and I think Erin Clark will lose a couple just on the back of that, and whether that's 2 minutes, whether that's 10 minutes, like it's anyone's guess, and that's why it's so hard to predict this year. So yeah, we obviously talked about him. He's getting a point a minute and stuff like that. So it's literally just based on how many minutes you think he's going to play, and I cannot answer that for you right now, and that's why I don't know if I'm bringing him in. But that hooker mid duel is really important. So I think this is why Erin Clark can be an awesome option or a terrible option based on your own team. So we'll go into my team now. So I've got 27 trades, right, which is higher than most. Most have 20, 25 or below. So I'm sitting in a really good spot there. I've also only got Mamo. He's my only hooker. So I need a hooker. So for me, Erin Clark's actually a really good option. I also have Isaiah Yeo, as well as May and Haas, which everyone has, but Yeo's a little bit less owned. So I've got 3, potentially 4 mids if Horsburgh plays Origin. So that hooker mid duel is actually really important to me in the Origin period because he can slot in either spot. If his buys coincide with Mamo, I can just move into the mids. So yeah, for me, with heaps of trades, only one hooker, and with Yeo, he's a perfect candidate. And I think I'm coming around to the idea of bringing him in, even if his minutes do decrease a little bit. Because, yeah, I'm in a position where if his minutes go down to 45, 50 when James Fisher-Harris is back, then I have so many trades that I can actually trade him out again. But if you have 22, 23 trades, you're probably not in a position. Like, it's going to be a luxury trade to get him out. And if he's averaging 45, 50 and it's not what you signed up for, then you're pretty much stuck with him, or you have to make 2 trades to get him in and out. And you just don't have that luxury with only 22 trades at the moment. So yeah, for me, a really good spot. If you have less trades, and I think if you don't have Yeo, I wouldn't be looking to bring him in, or if you have 2+ hookers, because he provides a lot less value over that buy period, because you have one less mid who's playing Origin, you have backup hookers who are probably going to play around 12. So yeah, like the buy schedule doesn't actually help you if you have more than one hooker and if you don't have Yeo. So it's just really dependent on your team. So that just preaches the importance of how someone can be a really good trade target for one team, but a terrible trade target to another. So you don't just see 10% of people bring in someone and automatically assume that's going to be a good trade for you. Just look at your team objectively and see what positions you need, see what buy cover you need in what positions, and see if he actually fits a role. Because there's no clear path to Erin Clark being 10 points undervalued, making 150k, or being a long-term keeper. That one is murky. Like he might be a long-term keeper in the hooker position. But yeah, he doesn't fill most of the fundamentals, but he can fill a role in your team in other ways based on your team's needs at the moment. So yeah, just an interesting one that I wanted to clarify. Obviously, we talked about him all week. Every other fantasy YouTuber, podcaster, every other fantasy Facebook group is talking about him. So yeah, just make sure you're looking at it in the eyes of your team and not just going with the masses. But yeah, that's it for me. I'll have some sells or holds video probably out later today, but I'll pump this one out first. And then, yeah, we'll see you in the next video, guys. Thank you.